Guys, before you go on to this clip, please don't forget to press the subscribe button for more content like this. We post all our clips on this channel from the podcast. I know you're going to enjoy this quite a lot.
I have always found it bizarre that Ashoka is considered the great. If anyone, in fact, in the Indian tradition, the idea of him being Ashoka the Great is completely modern. It's a 19th but mostly 20th century idea.
Okay.
And the Puranas etc. barely mention him as a ruler, but to the extent they mention him in passing, he is basically mentioned as Chanda Ashoka.
But then, why is there an official, like the flag right behind you?
Yes.
I if I'm not wrong, the chakra in the middle is the Ashoka chakra.
So this is something we need to have a discussion about.
okay.
So first of all, you have to know that in the early part of the 20th century, there was this whole idea of this socialist, welfarist state,
Fair.
pacifism from Gandhi, etc. Now, all of them wanted to create an ancient lineage for themselves.
Fair.
Now, the problem is that Chanakya doesn't provide you this.
No.
Nor does subsequent rulers. Not Shivaji clearly doesn't provide you this.
Right.
Prithviraj
Chauhan does not.
Chauhan doesn't. Krishna Devaraya doesn't.
Right.
So they grabbed onto this king called Ashoka, who had just been recently rediscovered by the British historians, particularly actually an East India Company official called Prinsep. But anyway, so they latched onto this guy. His inscriptions had just been rediscovered. And it had a few lines here and there which suggested that he was much into this pacifism type thing. So they took that. They took into also liked the fact that he had all this very expansionist, Mai Baap Sarkar attitude, which of course fitted in well with the Nehruvian socialism.
Right.
So therefore, you created this Ashoka the Great as a sort of
As a
origin
intellectual
point,
father to
an
these
intellectual father to this whole thing,
Okay.
to this project. So he then was created as the Great Ashoka.
Huh.
And then, so it's a purely 20th century phenomena. And then you basically twisted his history to talk about his conversion to Buddhism,
Coming out of
etc.
pacifism.
All of this is garbage. This is no evidence of this. In fact, the evidence is clear that he was a Buddhist before this invasion. And so then he became this great important person. And so his symbols are then taken on to becoming the symbols of the state, etc. Now, despite my somewhat suspicion of Ashoka, I however think inadvertently they did the right thing.
Huh.
So let me explain why. You see, the wheel and the chakra is not Ashoka's we call it the Ashoka chakra, but the symbol of the wheel as a symbol of the state predates Ashoka.
It's the Dharma chakra.
It is the Dharma chakra, but the Raj Dharma chakra.
Huh.
It has nothing to do with Buddhism.
Huh.
So let me understand this. The Indian state, the concept of the universal monarch is that of the Chakravartin.
Right.
Yes, Chakravartin Samrat.
Bilkul,
Goes back all the way to the Rig Veda to, the first Chakravartin who was Sudasa, the chieftain of the Bharata tribe after whom our kingdom is named.
Right.
Subsequently, there are many, the Raja Bharat and many others who do
Fall under the Chakravartin category.
Yeah, they become Chakravartin. What is their symbol? Their symbol is the wheel. So there are all great emperors would have the wheel as a symbol. Even the Guptas have the wheel.
Right.
Okay, and this is a symbol of royalty. So the Buddhists use it because Buddha in the spiritual realm is the universal monarch. That is, he's the Chakravartin in the spiritual realm. So the Buddhists are using the symbol as well, but they are also appropriating a pre-existing symbol.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Now think about what is going on here. You go to Sarnath. Why is Sarnath important? Because the two most important highways of that time, the Uttara Path and the Dakshina Path, cross here. So it was a highway crossing. Now imagine the scene. You have a huge pillar with these growling lions looking down at you with these symbols of the wheel. Nothing to do with Buddhism. This is about the power of the state. Okay, whether it's Ashoka, it may even have been put up by Bindusara or even by Chandragupta, for all we know. But what are the Mauryans saying? At the crossroads of the two most important highways, I have these growling lions looking down of you. They are basically in four directions. The Chakravartin's power
watches everything everywhere.
Yes.
Right.
That is what is the symbol of the state. It's the symbol of the power of the state. Okay, we have converted into this fuzzy-wuzzy, some Buddhist type thing. It is not. Okay.
Very interesting.
So it has, and then it has the chakra, the symbol of the state. The lions growling at you from above, big ones. I mean, if you go to Sarnath, these are not small. It's not a small thing. It's a pretty large, monumental thing on top of a pillar,
Right.
looking down at you. And where would you put it? You would put it at the place where the biggest crossroad in your of highways of that time. Right. So this is what it is. So it is a symbol of the power of the state. So whether consciously or unconsciously, we did the right thing. We took on the symbol of the state. After all, what is the state? What is the republic? A state is the power of the state is that it has monopoly over violence.
Right. This is Max Weber.
Yeah, that is what a state is.
Right.
So that's what it is.
In the Vipassana tradition, they actually talk about this. And so when I was first introduced, I thought, why is there an Ashoka chakra here? But they talk about it as the Dharma chakra or the Dhamma chakra.
It is not the Dharma chakra at all. It is the Raj Dharma chakra.
Fair.
Okay.
Fair.
This is and by the way, this symbol is there also if you go and look at Gupta sites, you will also find it.
Right. And it's so symbolic of the dharmic sort of tradition of things where time is circular and the karma and dharma is circular
But it is also a symbol of the chariot of the Chakravartin who can drive his chariot in any direction.
That's so interesting. From
And by the
power
way,
and spirituality.
Yeah,
right?
and so the Kharavela, who is the Odia king, who destroyed the Mughal of the Mauryan Empire, when Kharvel comes to power, he also conducts the Rajasuya Yagya and declares himself the Chakravartin.
Right. Isn't the Ashwamedh Yagya also in?
Yeah. They are basically both to declare the Chakravartin.
Right.
One of them involves the horse going around, etc. And the Rajasuya is a
fire.
It's a fire sacrifice. So
Both
of them are basically ways of declaring yourself as Chakravartin.
Interesting.
So, and it is all, and the symbol of the person who successfully carries out this process,
enterprise,
it then becomes the
Chakravartin
Samrat. The Chakravartin Samrat then is the universal monarch because his chariot can drive in any direction.
And nobody can interrupt.
him.
Right.
So this is the Chakravartin.
Fair.
So it is therefore the symbol of the state. And so when the Buddhists come, remember what happens with Buddha. When he is very small, a rishi comes and says this child will definitely become a Chakravartin. But he may become a Chakravartin in the spiritual sense or as a great conqueror.
Right.
And his father basically wants him to be a great conqueror. So you see, but he becomes in the spiritual space. But he is a universal monarch in that space.
Right.
But what are the Buddhists doing? There already is a conception of a universal monarch whose symbol is the Chakravartin, and they are appropriating it.
Right. Very interesting.
And in modern times, we instinctively understand what it is.
Yes.
So even though we do it for the wrong reason, which is Ashoka, etc.,
we latch on to
the correct symbol.
Right.
Which is that there are these growling lions looking down at us. So, again, one of the funny and almost hilarious things we do is that in this sort of pursuit of so-called, we discover that these growling lions aren't too peaceful. It kind of violates our self-image.
Right.
So, in the Nehruvian period, if you look at buildings built in the 50s, 60s, 70s, including, for example, the lions on top of the Vidhan Sauda in Bengaluru for Karnataka's legislative assembly.
Right.
The lion's mouth is shut. So they stop them from growling because they're not peaceful enough.
Right. Okay, very interesting how that works. Huh?
Yeah. So therefore, now what happens is, now we build a new thing. We got them to back to growling.
Because we're back. Right? Like we're back in that flavor.
Bro, if you're loving this video, यहाँ पे एक चीज आती है, click करके देखना उसे, हो सकता है you love something more.